Coming up on this episode of the Spiro Podcast.
All because you said yes.
Right.
All you did, it boils down to one simple word. You said yes to something that was helping her because she was in charge of getting the things together. And when you're doing that, it's very hard and you hear a lot of no's. And you said yes.
Welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magro.
Hi, and welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate media business. Spiro is a software platform. It's designed to not just manage your day-to-day business, but really to help you scale and grow and be a success in this field. I'm Craig Magrum. Welcome back to another week. It's going to be a fun episode. Always fun when these two are on with me. Right now, let me introduce Todd Kivimaki, our owner and founder, and Shannon Landers of Spiro. Guys, welcome.
Great to be back in here. Good to see everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a great, busy season here if you're in this part of the hemisphere with us. So exciting topics today, but glad to be back on.
Absolutely. Well, we're just going to kind of cut pretty quick to the chase. But before we do, Todd, what has recently started that people should be aware of?
Yeah, just a quick reminder. Shannon has launched what we're calling Momentum Mondays. And as we sat around and we're talking, and this is Shannon and Steve talking, they're just talking about a big day that's coming up for Keller Williams in particular. And Steve and Shannon have a lot of knowledge about the Keller Williams brokerage. And again, this knowledge is important because when you all understand how these different brokerages work, operate, and what they need, you can begin to fill those needs, and then their agents will in turn begin to call you. So we were sitting around going like, man, they know so much about this. Like, this would be great for really every photographer to walk into their Keller Williams branch or branches and have context to this day. So the goal, and I won't go into it because they gave you all of that. So go check it out where you'll see that there'll be a launch on Monday now on the podcast channels and the Spiro Super User Facebook group. But we wanted to give you small, bite-sized, 10 minutes or less, actionable items for your Monday morning, driving to your first shoot or getting the email fired up to put something in your head that thinks about how can I feel momentum? Because there's nothing worse as I look back at my time over the last 23 years. I think the times that it was the toughest is when I felt like I did not have momentum.
Absolutely.
And then when you feel like you don't have momentum, you feel like I forget how to get momentum going. And then you're so far
hard to create it, right?
Yeah.
Like you gotta stir it up and get it going.
Yeah. So that's our goal. And lots of great information in there. Shannon, anything else about Momentum Mondays?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest spot to find them will be the super user group. We're going to pin them, right? So we'll have a little section. We'll also have a little playlist section that we'll store them all in. So, and again, even less than 5 minutes, guys. We're something you can listen to hopefully on the way in, right? But these are going to get posted every Monday. And again, the goal is really just to give you something concrete that week to go do. This is something our broker does for us. She actually does it every day, every morning for 15 minutes. She comes on and she tells us what we could do that day. And I think sometimes that's where people get stuck, right, Todd? It's what do I do today? So we just want to bring that momentum to everybody. Remember, as you know, our clients grow, we grow too. So we love that. And so we're happy to do this.
Awesome. I just recently got my own momentum going again, and it feels good. You don't know what to expect, but results happen. I've had so many great conversations. I've just recently won back a client we had lost. And all it took was a phone call and a conversation. And they gave me the information that they weren't happy with what they had just experienced, and they wanted to give us another shot. And it's just the small things, you know?
Yeah. So Craig, to clarify, you don't have to be 50, like to get that momentum, or I just wanted to make sure I understand.
Who are you talking about?
Craig had a birthday this past, a week and a half ago.
We all had a birthday in April. It is crazy.
Craig, happy birthday. A big one for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. I'm trying not to think in terms of half a century, but it's kind of hard not to. It's like, I'm not that old, am I?
You're just teeing these things up for me today. I'm gonna show restraint.
Yeah, let's just relate this to fine wine, Craig. That's what I do.
Okay, there we
I'm
go.
a fine wine, and I just get better with age. Okay, so kind of even take it to your scripture, right? Like you get wisdom, you're
Right.
smarter, like all those
Sure.
things, dear.
Right.
Okay, so congratulations,
Thank
and
you.
I'm just happy you did it before me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Brittany, one of our teammates on our support team, she's like, I cannot believe you're 50. I said, it's because I'm still immature. Yeah. I have a joke with my youngest sister that whenever I talk to her, I regress at least 8 years in maturity. So I'll blame it on my younger sister. She keeps me young. Well, thank you guys.
So fun.
Happy birthday.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, let's dig into this. Related to building momentum, Shannon, you've been kind of pontificating, thinking, meditating on things. Not, I'm getting deep here with you, Shannon,
You're
but
wise.
things not to forget in the midst of busy season, and that is so easy to do because we get so busy with shoots and just the day-to-day business. And so you've got some pointers for us to remember in the midst of this spring busy season here in the Northern Hemisphere. And yeah, let's just dive into it.
Yeah, I think Todd and I think about this a lot, because together, him and I have experienced these rides, right? Like of this, like building that momentum and then pushing, and then all of a sudden we're busy, and then we go, oh, "Did we do that thing? We forgot to do that thing," right? And then sometimes it's even just hiring the right people in this time. So, our thought today was that there's a lot of growth happening. We're seeing it from our customers. Our numbers are up. And Todd knows that from his business side. He'll share that, like his numbers are up. And so we know not everybody might be up, but there is a lot of good media appointments being set in the United States right now. And that is because agents have gotten to have to get back to doing good media to sell houses due to days on market, which is a very good thing for all of us. Even the consumers, this is a good thing for consumers. And so we'll share, just some tips and tricks to not forget. I know Todd's got a couple. I've got a couple. Craig, you probably have a couple. So, Todd, I'm going to pass it to you because you had a couple real good things I want you to share first.
Yeah, so I think I want to start a question to all of you out there. So wherever you're at and listening to this, I want you to think about your past actions in the last week. And I want you to analyze what you worked on that was urgent, what you worked on that was important. And from a business owner, sometimes I was confused by these two. And honestly, I still get confused by these two because what feels urgent is important, right? Or is it how important like I can run myself in those cycles of thinking, hey, there's an unhappy client. It's urgent and important that we stop everything to make the photos a little less yellow. Now, that's great because you'll be able to help that client, and that is important. But did that further your business along? And that's a tough question for me sometimes because I sit here and I sit at this computer, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and I sometimes am very comfortable with the work I do. We all are, right? You're all masters of it. You can shoot houses like no other. You're the best photographer, the best drone. You're the best salesperson. You wear all the caps and you're the best at them. But when you have that comfortability, your brain can fool you to think that that's going to make progress.
Or it feels like progress, right, Todd?
Right.
I think that's the thing. Is it like, oh yeah, but then when you look back, you're like, I didn't do anything.
We didn't go anywhere.
We were sitting at a red light, man, and I was happy about it.
Yeah.
Like that's what happened, right?
Yeah. Well, Shannon, you and I had a conversation a week ago, and we talked about we talked about some things at Spiro,
Mhm.
and we, just to be transparent with you all, it's a pretty uncomfortable time at Spiro right now. Like, I have these feelings of like, why is this so unsettling? And it's because because of the growth, because I was comfortable with the last stage.
Hmm.
And I got used to it. I got used to the amount of work that came in. I got used to the people that are on the team. I got used to the challenges that we were trying to conquer. Well, if you want to grow, you've got to get uncomfortable. And Shannon and I kind of sat and we're like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like, it's okay.
Mhm.
Like, my left brain went down a little bit. It's like, why is this so, it's hard to be here. Like, it's not comfortable. It's like, wow, we're doing things that we've never done before. And you all out there are doing them too. You know, I see your numbers. I hear you on Facebook. You're hiring new photographers. Some of you are hiring 2 or 3 of them at a time.
Mhm.
You're not going to sit there. If you have a team of 1 and you bring 2 onto the team, you're doing something you've never done before. You're probably going to be uncomfortable and not too happy. I can be dramatic. Ask Shannon and Craig. I can be dramatic. And you probably can be too, but if you are, or if you're feeling, maybe you go more introverted, whatever your personality style is. So I just want you to analyze that and think about what you're doing every day, and are you moving the ball forward? And sometimes when you move the ball forward, you feel uncomfortable, which makes you think I should not move the ball forward. But you need to get uncomfortable to grow.
Make sure you know where you want that ball to go, right? Like, and that's kind of one of my first thing when I think about what can drop in growth is that roles can get blurred because maybe everybody's just picking up to get the job done. But then that creates confusion with employees and maybe unsettling there, right? Because roles have all of a sudden mushed together and people don't have a clear guide of what they're supposed to be doing, you know? So having that clear goal of where you want that ball to go, right? And then thinking about those steps to get there. And this is why we talk about writing goals out so much and writing that path out. Doesn't mean the path might not pivot. It will probably pivot, but you've got it as your North Star per se, keeping you in the direction that you need. So great question, Todd, because I think it's easy to, oh, we're crushing it. Let's just keep going. And you get on the other side and you're like, oh crap, we missed the ball on those things.
So to summarize this first point, how would you encapsulate that in terms of something not to forget in busy season? What would a summary statement be for point 1?
Yeah, for me, so it's this idea of, in busy season, there's a lot happening and you're doing things you've never done. So at the end of the day, I think what I'm trying to say is, do not be too hard on yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. I've taken myself way too serious for way too many years, and I still fall into that trap. These couple of weeks I've had to snap out of it because it feels uncomfortable, but you're probably doing things you've never done before. You got to give yourself and your team a little bit of grace, and you have to be okay with the uncomfortableness, or you're just going to dig yourself into what I call the owner trap, where you're going to hate your business.
And it might take some people with you to help, right? Like you don't have to do that alone,
Hmm.
right? And I think about our solopreneurs here, right, that are getting their business going and they maybe hire that first shooter or that first admin or VA. And then they're like, oh crap, I have to train them, right? Oh crap, I have to do this. Oh crap, right? Just let that person help you because more often than not, they're going to have organization skills or things they're going to say, hey, we could do this. So just you don't always have to know it all, like to be the boss, I guess, maybe, right?
I like that, Shannon. You don't always have to know it all. Yeah, giving yourself permission to bring others in for them to contribute, which automatically then creates buy-in from them and they feel valued. Yeah, I like that.
So that's a great segue into point number 2 is, now, let's say you have a team, and this could just be you have a VA, and this could be that you have 40 photographers. Uh, Busy season, as the owners, a lot of stuff comes up to the top to you all, and you all are feeling busier than ever, doing new and different things. Shannon, with leading a team, what are some non-negotiables as you think about your team every week? Like, what is important just from a human to human standpoint that our listeners out there should not forget about? Because it's really easy to like put blinders on during busy season. We get to November, like, oh, wait a minute, I haven't talked to somebody for 4 months.
Yeah. Well, and I especially think about, and it's even learning for me, like how to manage a remote team, right? We're not all in a room, and you know me, Todd and Craig, you know me, like I love to be around people, like, so it's very different for me to sit at a table or my desk and be alone in working. And in fact, yesterday, here's a great example. I called Amy. My brain was mushy on I'm trying to figure out how to do something. So I just call Amy. I'm like, I need your help. I just need to talk through this. And we spent an hour. What was super funny is she had something she was also stuck in. And so we kind of kept going back and forth. And in 1 hour, we solved our problem, had things done, and had moved on. Right. And so I think it's like you can't forget that you do need people. And even if they're on a camera, get on or get on the phone and talk to them. Right. Like this typing and texting and slacking and messaging, like sometimes you just need to brainstorm with another human being. So, one thing that we do that I think is very important is every other week we just do a little leadership huddle for 30 minutes, and we just make sure we're all on the same page. Again, we're rowing in a different direction. We actually have implemented the 411 system from KW, which has just helped us keep track of what we're doing monthly and onto our annual goals. So we use that as just, it's almost, I don't want to call it a to-do list because it's not that, but it really just helps us every week say, okay, these are my goals. This is what I have to get done this week to achieve that big goal.
Love it. That's probably a good. We could note that down to do a 4-1 or that 411 on a Momentum Monday. Maybe we can give a little insight coming up here.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and just why we're back to that super quick. Please comment on the Momentum Mondays about topics maybe you guys would love us to do something on. Okay? Like we want to bring some content that is, especially our users are wanting. So don't be afraid to comment and say, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do this?"
Same thing for this podcast.
Yes,
Just a little plug.
Craig, you bring a side of a hybrid role at WOW where you're in the field with clients, but then also you interact with the team at WOW, from the customer support to sales to other photographers. What are some things that you implement to, especially during busy season, just to make sure that people know that you care? And I know that's very important to you. You're fabulous at it, but just this idea of like, oh, Craig thought about me. And one more small thing before I give you the floor, but you all out there, I don't want you to underestimate the impact that it makes when you think about someone. In your brain, you will underestimate it because you talk to yourself all day, every day. I do all day, every day. I'm in my brain. So it's no big deal when Todd shows Todd any attention. This is getting semi-weird, but I hope you're tracking with me. I've learned over the years that something as small as a quick text message, a call, hey, you did a good job, it goes further than you think it goes as the owner. So are there some tricks or some things that you implement, Craig, just to make sure that people know you're thinking about them and you care about them?
Yeah, I mean, I had a great example just yesterday at the time of this recording. So I think we've talked about in the past trying to find an additional photographer to help me in my market because things have gotten busy. And we actually have a longtime team member of the WOW team that travels between different markets, and he's been helping me in the Toledo market about twice a week now. And we had a client that I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast that we had lost. They had a lot of pressure from their brokerage to use their internal team. She ended up not being happy with what they did. And I just happened to reach out because I was making my 60-day calls where I hadn't seen activity from her in 60 days. So I had followed up, and she told me the story of what happened on her last listing, and she was going to be having a meeting. And check back with her after that meeting. Well, we touched base, and she said, we want you to reshoot this property for us. And it just so happened that this other photographer, Luke, got assigned that job. Now, this client I have a long relationship with. We get along fabulously. So just having that relationship, I was nervous for someone else to do it. But I had asked her, what specifically were you not happy with this other provider, so that I can tell Luke what to focus on? And she told me exactly what she wasn't happy with. I relayed that to Luke. I said, I know you're going to do a fantastic job. You've done this longer than I have, but here's what she's specifically looking for. He's like, great, I got it. So I touched base with him after the shoot. Hey, did everything go well? He's like, yeah, I think she seemed happy. The seller seemed happy, but any feedback she has, please let me know. I said, absolutely. So I immediately sent a text to this realtor, said, any feedback that you have for Luke, please let us know. Are you happy? Was your seller happy? And she wrote back, she said, Luke did a fantastic job, did exactly what we needed. The quality was better. The composition was better. You'll be hearing more from us in the short future. So that took the load off of me of, okay, it doesn't have to be me. And I immediately sent a screenshot of that praise from the realtor to Luke. And I said, you duh man. I said, I had no doubt, but yeah, here's your feedback. Great job. Thank you for taking care of our clients. And he's like, great, fantastic. So I know that verbal feedback, especially for me, words of encouragement goes a long way in helping somebody feel valued and special, and that they're contributing. So yeah, it was just a simple thing of providing feedback from the realtor to the photographer of, hey, dude, thank you. I mean, you've helped a client that I've worked with for years, and he likes learning about the realtors up here because he's not familiar with this market. So he's like, anything you have to give me about your clients in Toledo, please let me know. He's a team player. So yeah. So it's just something as simple as, giving feedback and giving some insight on the client to the photographer and letting them run with it. So.
And what you did too is you boosted Luke's day, right? You filled his cup, right? Filling his cup. And then you filled the realtor's cup because you listened, and then you guys acted, and then you cared enough to even say, hey, did we do what you wanted? Like, it's so simple.
Simple. It's simple things, really.
The thing to think about, the technicals are, I guess is not too technical, but the theory in that is this idea of closed loop communication. And what closed loop communication says is anybody involved in the situation, make sure that you give them feedback, even if it's you're closing the loop to say everything's good and we're done, or great job. If Craig would not have texted either the client or Luke, they're both going to be like, well, the client's like, well, he never checked up on me. And then Luke's going to say, well, I don't know if that was good. And everybody's going, well, is everything okay? And it's just as simple. When you are in a situation, think of whatever names are involved in that situation. Just quickly think, does this person need to know? It could be as simple as a reply all email.
Mm-hmm.
You could CC your entire team and say, hey, nothing actionable here. I just wanted you to know that this thing happened. Please let me know if you have any questions. And because we move so fast, I find that I forget to do that at times. And then when you forget to do that enough times, there's enough gaps that people go, wait a minute, the telephone game starts to happen, right? Like, it's like, you all remember the telephone game where it goes from one person to the next, to the next, and next. And even 3 people later, all of a sudden, the situation is not anywhere close to what it was. So it's great technique, Craig. And it's just super important as the business owner that you all close those loops of communication, just even to say that, hey, everything's great. Thank you for your help in this.
Mm-hmm.
I got a quick tip for you, and then I have an example for you for something I did this week to give you the think about during busy week. I was on with Matt Gia with Auto HDR. He did the podcast a couple weeks ago, and we were just talking, and he had mentioned a program called Whisper Flow, WISPR Flow. And I was using a different talk to text app. I like this one better. It's no surprise because he's incredibly intelligent. He knows everything about technology. But if you're not talking into your device and letting it dictate that for you in text, I think you're missing out. I feel like I can type reasonably well. It's nowhere near what I can talk. So it's super easy. I can get so much more done. I've given it to the team. I've mentioned it to the team. And it allows you to be a little bit more conversational, and it will correct some of your dictation. There's different levels of it. But anyways, a quick plug. This is not an affiliate link. I don't get paid anything for it. I'm just saying it was an unlock of mine that I like this program better. And I know you guys are always looking for little tweaks in your business, but that has made a big impact in my business alone because I can hit the Alt key and I can talk and it spaces it out. It does bullet points. It put parentheses. It does exclamation points. So check it out, Whisper Flow, if you have not. All right, into my part two. So one thing, busy season, something to not forget about. And you're going to say, Todd, this is not even reasonable because I'm up 100% from last year. Just hear me out. I don't want you to completely forget about client acquisition. Because what happens, and we see this in the real estate industry, it's kind of fun how close our businesses are related to realtors' businesses, but we all get busy and there's a lot of work to do. And we go and do the work. And we do no client acquisition or relationship building. And then we get done with the work and we take a breath and we're like, good. It's a slow week. And it's great to recharge for a week. Problem is when you get back the next week, it's still probably going to be slow. And then you go, holy crap. And you have energy now because you took a week off. And you're like, there's nothing to do. So left brain, fight or flight can kick up and you're like, my business is failing. This is everything terrible. Well, you forget that you were up 100% and you're just in this little bit of a lull where you need to start getting yourself out of the hole because you do not have enough reoccurring coming in. And realtors do this too. Shannon can tell you all about this. She's recruited and trained thousands of them. They get listings, they put the sign in the yard, they work to sell it, and then they have to work to get more listings. So this happens in every business. The tip I want to give you all is I know client acquisition feels heavy for many of you because when I say client acquisition, you go, I don't want to make cold calls.
Yep. I'm not going, no.
Right? Yeah.
They're not going to answer anyway. So why would I call? Right?
Yeah. Dial it, hang up, all that. We all have our tactics. Well, I want to give you all a layup. Okay. Here's my basketball analogy. I want to give you a layup. I don't want you to cold call people. I don't want you to do Zillow lead calls or, people who don't have professional photos. You need some energy to do that. And I know it's busy. I just want you to reach out to people that know you really well, that know, like, and trust you, and you've already built a relationship. Quick example for me. We have one very large client, our largest client broker deal. This is year 13 of the broker deal. We had our yearly meeting not long ago. And they have some segments where they include all of their agents, all 500 or 600 of them. It's like, hey, I want you to be on this Marketing Monday. I'm like, oh, that's great. And so I just used a relationship that I've had for a very long time. I have a great relationship with him. And he was just like, I want you to be on this because I want our agents to know about your new products and services and what they're doing and how they can help other agents. You most likely have these relationships out there where you can go and you can say, hey, we've got great virtual staging, aerials, agent on camera, new deluxe cinematic, whatever you have. I can tell you that there are office managers or owners out there and agents that go, wait, I didn't know you did that. Mm-hmm. And when you give that information, you are educating them and they're understanding it's happened. I've been at this company for almost 20 years, y'all. And we still connected with new agents.
Mhm.
You're always going to have potential. And the thing for me, and I just want to tie this back to the idea of being uncomfortable. I will tell you that the Sunday before I had this Monday mastermind where I presented to the team, I was like, oh, why did I agree to this? Y'all know I can talk. Y'all know I love the microphone. And I on Sunday night went, Todd, why'd you do that? I don't know that I can do this tomorrow.
Mm.
Maybe I'll be so sick I won't have a voice when I wake. I didn't go that bad, but I second guess. I was like, wait a minute. Like, this is a little bit uncomfortable for me. Like, I'm going to have the whole team on there. And so what I did is I took a breath. I was like, wait a minute, Todd, like it's good to be uncomfortable. You know, this owner, you've worked with these agents 20 years. They know you. They know your company. It's a good rapport. Everybody's happy. So get uncomfortable, but find little layups. And I got on there and he teed me up. So he gave me the most kind introduction. And it was very kind things for him to say that. It was like, wow, like it gave me this warm feeling. And we were prepared. The team did the presentation, but I want you to look out there. Think about 3 names right now that you could contact that could get you an in, that could get you an easy referral, that you could get in next Tuesday at a team meeting that you could talk about agent on camera.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and honestly, and I know we go through this with agents because, like, I don't want to be on camera. But guys, we are here. We are here in the moment that if these agents don't get their brand, which is themselves, on camera and out there, those agents are not going to make it. They're not. Now, you might have one that's been in the business 35 years and they don't want to get on camera and they'll still make it. And they will because they've built the book of business. But many, especially when you think about a 90% fail rate in the first year for a real estate agent, kind of back to what I think I said a couple podcasts ago, like go be the one that helps that agent succeed, right? Go help them succeed. So I love that. And speaking to all those agents at once, man, how nice was that to speak and have that connection? You just had that connection with 500 agents in an hour. Like,
Yeah.
that, I love the law of numbers when you work it from the top, right?
Yeah. It's like I would have spent 1 hour on Wow this whole year, and I spent an hour in that meeting. I touched 500 agents. Like I just multiplied my time.
Yep.
Times 500.
Yep.
Another thing that so we looked at the stats as they came in. Like we had calls, we had orders that came in. One thing, and we're in such a cool era of all these trends, I'll call them.
Mm-hmm.
The day to night, the fly the house in on balloons, like the Up movie, or do the smash where the agent comes. There's a million of them. And I think we kind of look at them as creatives and we go, it's kind of cheesy. And some of them are, but it's marketing.
Yes.
We had a call almost after the presentation to an agent that had never used us, who loved the virtual staging that popped up in the video. You know how it expands out from the floor and does those, AI things? Like that is eye-catching, and I don't want you to underestimate it. I want you to post it on your social media. I want you to show it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a tool that the agent goes, wait a minute, I can be different with this.
Or it's marketing, and what is marketing supposed to be? Remember, right? You should remember it.
Yeah.
Whether it's funny, silly, stupid. We've all seen the stupid commercials that we have remembered our whole lives, right? But that is the point. The whole point of marketing is just to be top of mind.
I think we overthink it at times, and we overthink it because marketing does not have instant results.
Correct. And sometimes it's hard to track. Like a lot of marketing you can track, right? But there's also a lot of it that you can't.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right. So I have a point I want to really bring out, and I think we all can understand this one. When you get busy and you're up 100% and things are good and you're cruising, really think about the moves you make, whether they're hiring, buying something new for yourself, okay? Because there's a little something called cash flow that is very important in a business. And sometimes we can easily justify, oh, I've been working this hard for so long. I really deserve this. And we're not saying you don't. You probably do, but it just might not still be the time to do it.
Hmm.
So the cautionary tale of just don't purchase anything big or make these crazy big decisions without some good thought and some time, right? And I know this is hard because we have a lot of young entrepreneurs in our circle, okay? And it's easy to get that cash and say, "Oh." So be smart, talk to others, talk to your CPA, talk to a financial person. Bring those people into your business sooner rather than later to ensure your cash flow keeps you through winter
Mhm.
and into that next season. So, Todd, we know nothing about these things, do we?
Yeah, I mean, this is like, yeah, speaking to me every day, like thinking about that. And it's like, if you do something now, like, you're probably seeing bigger numbers than you've ever seen coming in. The problem is that they're bigger than ever going out as well. So,
Yeah.
that's cash flow. What's coming in versus what's going out. Y'all
Yep.
probably paid your taxes not long ago, and you're like, how many of you went, oh, oh, you got that number back from your account. You're like, oh, can you double check that?
Yeah. Did you up
That's got
there?
an extra zero on it. That
Pretty
can't be.
sure I had something else I could depreciate. Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah.
Yes. And if you think about buying that big thing to get with your accountant, hey, can I expense that? Like, how could there's lots of things that you can do smart, legally,
Mhm,
let me please say legally,
mhm,
to make your business work for you,
mhm,
right? Some of you probably haven't even started an S Corp or anything like that. So these are just all things to think about as you're running and got and you're like, oh, we've got the cash flow. Ooh, yeah, let's book that trip in November because we're going to want to rest and we're going to want to go there, right? And some of you might be able to do that just fine. I'm not saying don't do it, just saying take a pause, right? My uncle taught me something very, very long ago. If I want to buy something, a big purchase over $1,000, I have to research it for 5 days and I have to wait 5 days after that to see if I really want it. And it was the best advice he ever gave.
That is great advice because we get this dopamine hit when we buy something. I know y'all
Yes.
do it on Amazon, B&H, whatever site you're on. You hit that buy now button, you're like, "Yeah, cha-ching." And it's
Oh,
and then that
crud. What did I just do?
yeah, that credit card bill comes. It's like, "What in the world happened?"
That little
Yeah, great
buyer.
advice.
Yes. Yes. The other one too, probably that I can think about is just control too. Like if you're growing and you have some great people you've hired and you trust them, you have to relinquish that control to allow them to do their jobs, to support you, to
Mhm,
make those great decisions. So kind of back to that first point we were talking about, right? The clarity, and then ensure that the balance is there, and it's hard for a lot of us to give up control. Like I am still dealing with that in my life. And so that is something that can easily go south real quick. Like I said, you get done with busy season, all of a sudden your employees all quit on you because you have made them feel terrible during that time.
yeah, yep,
Can I rewind just a little bit, Todd and Shannon, about your point about not forgetting client acquisition during busy season?
Mm.
So over the couple of years I've been doing this, I think busy season, that shooting time, my business development activities, I don't have time for. I just need to have availability for appointments, right?
Mm.
mhm,
So with going back to what I mentioned before, with Luke coming up into the market twice a week to help me out, that has opened up my schedule, and I'm having days where I only have one or two shoots. I'm like, what? Why is business so slow? Oh, that's right. Luke is covering some shoots, and I need to be concentrating on acquiring new business. And it's just, it's strange for me because I was so used to being alone up in this market and not having that availability. And Todd, going back to your point about I really don't want to do this presentation tomorrow. So just another quick story to share. There's a brokerage that is statewide that we shoot for a few of their agents here in my market, but it's a relationship that's never been super strong. But I was asked if we would support a fundraising dinner that they were doing for a local charity by an agent that we've done some shoots for, not a ton. And in fact, I think she was using a competitor for a while until she had won a previous auction item where we gave away a bundle and it got her back to us. So she reached out and said, hey, would you be willing to support this, this fundraising dinner and donating an item or helping sponsor? And I kind of paused internally, not to her, but I thought, well, we don't have that great of a relationship. Is it worth our investment? But I thought, well, I need to be concentrating on new client acquisition. This will be an open door to a brokerage that I don't know a ton of the people there, but I do know her. So I said, sure, we'll donate this bundle. And she's like, thank you so much. Hey, you can come to my table, be a part of my table that I'm sponsoring, and I'll introduce you to some people. Okay, great. That's the whole point. The day before, Todd and Shannon, of course, my internal introvert self, I start freaking out. Like I have, one-on
Oh.
small groups, I'm great. These large dinners, it's like I feel like a wallflower. It's hard for me. I'm like, I don't know that I want to go. It was a Friday night. It's like it's the end of my week. I'm mentally tired. I'm like, but we sponsored it. I have to be there. So I went. This agent, no joke, introduced me to every big name in that room, including the founder of the brokerage, who I've never spoken with, the CEO, who I didn't know his name, their training of managers. Who else? When she introduced me to the founder, I mentioned that, hey, we just expanded into a new market. He said, follow me. I've never talked to this guy before in my life. Oh, yes, sir. So I followed him. He introduces me to two of their agents from this new market that we just moved into. And they're like, oh, fantastic. We're looking for somebody. I said, well, let me put you in contact with our business development specialist who is in this new market. Great. And I'm like, I was just kind of speechless at these opportunities that suddenly opened. The CEO told me, yeah, drop off your materials at our office. We're always looking for other vendors and photographers that can help us out. And I'm like, great, I'll do that. And it led to me stopping by their office twice this past week, once to drop off some trifolds, once to drop off some pricing flyers. In those two visits, the CEO introduced me to the principal broker, whose name I knew, but I had never met. He said, you look familiar. I said, well, I was just at the fundraising dinner this past Friday. That's where I saw you there. That's right. And I wow, video. Yeah, I've heard of you guys.
Do we need to get Craig a red jacket, like a nice red Yes.
Oh Lord, no.
I mean, you gotta walk into a room and strut, right? Like no more introvert Craig.
Craig does not strut. Craig does not that third person. Anyway, so he's like, Dunkin' Donuts is right next door to their office. I stopped, got a dozen donuts, brought that in with the flyers, and I said, I'll be back in the next day or two with the pricing flyers. He's like, okay, great. So I did that, walked in their front door. They don't have a front desk, but they have a door chime. Nobody came up immediately, so I was just going to put the pricing flyers, on the table, and I was starting to walk out. Well, here comes the broker up the stairs, and I said, I heard the doorbell. I said, oh, hey, so-and-so. I said, here's those pricing flyers here. Let me give you one and explain, hey, this is the discounted pricing program we've had in place actually a couple of years for you guys. And he's like, oh, this is actually pretty good. He said, I have a meeting coming up Friday. I'll introduce this to the team. And I'm like, fantastic. All because we got asked to help sponsor an event that I didn't want to go to because I was chickening out.
So all because you said yes.
Right.
All you did, it boils down to one simple word.
Yeah.
You said yes
to
something that was helping her because she was in charge of getting the things together.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're doing that, it's very hard and you hear a lot of no's. And you said yes. And so that law of reciprocity kicked into her. Oh my gosh, this guy said yes. I'm going to make sure he gets that back.
Yeah.
Right?
It just snowballed way beyond what I was expecting.
Because you never know where that next great big opportunity lies.
So don't forget to say yes during busy season to opportunities and events.
Yeah, you might need to say no to other things. I don't want that to be like say yes to everything. Todd's been teaching me how to say no for like 15 years now. So it's in progress, I promise you.
Yeah.
But say yes to opportunity.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I love that.
Just a
I
real
love this episode. I'm very excited about this episode.
It's good.
I really hope we help people think about these next 3 months that are going to be hectic and busy. And a few things that they can keep top of mind to ensure when they get on the other side of it that they are happy, healthy, and still moving forward.
Todd, any closing thoughts from you?
Just as I look back over specifically like your timeline in the last year or so, it's like you worked to be very busy and then you felt like you weren't serving your clients. We made the decision to have more photographers and that came in so that you could say yes. And I know some of you, like you need help, as Shannon mentioned, but it's just cool. Like that is progress. And you all out there listening, you have the same progress. I know you're like, oh, I didn't have the broker. I didn't have the introduction like Craig just told. You'll get them. We don't get them every day.
Right.
It's maybe a once a year. The stars line up and it happens. But what I want you all to reassure yourself is that you are making progress. It might not feel like it right now because you might be in a little bit of a hole. And holes are not great to be in. And if you can think about where you were a year ago or that you were working a full-time job 2 years ago, think about your story and your path. There's progress in there. There definitely is. That sometimes can help you get out of that hole, help you get some momentum, and allow you to appreciate what you've done so that you can put that smile back on again and you can say yes to more things.
That momentum builds and that fuels your energy and that energy leads to results. And it's just all a big cycle. You just got to get it rolling. You can do it, guys. You can do it.
I always tell the agents, it's think of a big train, big steam train, and how much coal does it take to get that thing going, right? To get everything churning and moving. And it takes a ton. But then once you're moving, it just takes a little bit at a time.
Maintenance.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. Love it.
Good stuff. Todd, Shannon, thank you both. Appreciate you.
Pleasure.
Always fun to be with you boys.
Yeah. We've had a long series of a lot of guests on the podcast for the past, I don't know, probably 2 months since the Spiro Sync conference, and it's been a ton of fun. So always fun to reconnect with you guys. But those of you watching, listening, if you have some topics, business related topics that you would like covered, maybe some creative brainstorming, whatever, we would love to hear those. Drop us an email, hello@spiro.media. You can also leave a comment here on the YouTube channel if you're watching the video. We would love those ideas. And if we don't have answers for that, we'll find somebody that does. So we want to hear from you. I want this podcast to be beneficial and profitable to you because we know your time is precious, especially during busy season. So we want it to be impactful and something that will really add value to what your business is. So guys, thank you for making the time. Just remember, even during busy season, pause, take a breath, be thankful for your blessings, and have a great week. We appreciate you.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.